We're at the Rose Hill Gym, NCAA Women's Basketball Selection Show, honoring our 2019 Atlantic 10 champions, Emmanuel Berbari, Dominic Capone, Fordham Director of Athletics, Dave Roach. Thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here. What a night, and what a celebration to honor a terrific team that is just a great group and so much fun to be around and to watch play, and just spectacular.
Now, you sit here courtside for every single game. How impressed are you with this squad throughout the entire season?
Well, I've been impressed with what Coach Gaitley has done since I got here. You know, there's a consistent way of doing things, whether it's the way you practice, the way you expect to have things done. And the best part is Coach Gaitley does it in a way that our student athletes really respond. And she has the unique ability to be able to say to somebody, this is what I need you to do, and that person to be able to zero in on it and do it. And when you look at how hard we play, and it all starts with defense, and I spent 4 years at Tennessee and happened to get to know Pat Summitt pretty well. And her saying, if I can remember it correctly, is offense sells tickets, defense wins championships, something like that. And that's kind of our cornerstone. And obviously it works out great because if you have a night where you don't shoot quite so well, you're in every game because of the defense. And our kids just play so hard and respond so well to what Coach Gaitley wants to do. And, you know, over the last 7 years that I've been here, 8 years that she's been here, the success has just been outstanding. And it's not just one team. It's the program that she's built that's real solid.
And it seems it came to fruition this year, a top 10 defense for the first time under Coach Gaitley's head coaching career. And you look at what they were able to do at the Atlantic 10 tournament. They were able to hold two of those opponents under 50 points. So as you were referencing, when push comes to shove, it's the defense that's going to end up winning the championship.
No, it is. And Saturday at the A10 championship was probably as great a game as I've seen a women's team play in a long time that I've been involved in collegiate athletics. And I have to admit, you have to play Duquesne on their home court as part of the A10 championship. They had played pretty well at the end of the year, kind of like, you know, should we worry about this? But obviously the way we came out in the defense, and then we shot so well. I mean, what was it, 41-9 at one point?
It was 44-9.
Yeah.
You cut them short on that one.
Yeah. Well, I missed that last three or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that was just something that you don't see that often. It was great to see. And then you have that big win and come back the next day and really play great defense again and put away VCU.
12 in a row going into the NCAA tournament. Do you have a team that you're eyeing down that they could potentially play and potentially beat? And how important is 12 in a row going into the NCAA tournament?
I think when you get to the NCAA tournament and when you play great defense like we've talked about, you know, we could probably play with anybody if we play the defense that we normally play, and I'm sure we will. And then you have a pretty good shooting night. We're gonna scare some people, and we can knock some people off.
How special was it to go into another team's gym in the conference that was hosting the conference tournament and kind of prove, hey, we're the best team in that tournament, and able to take them down in the semifinals like that?
It was really satisfying because when the A10 put the tournament out to bid, they did it for 3 years, and we bid for all 3 years. And I thought, given what Coach Gaitley has done in our program, we should have got one of those tournaments. But the league decided on Duquesne, Dayton, and VCU, which was very disappointing. And so you kind of think of Duquesne and now even VCU and Dayton, all pretty good programs, and you got to go there to win it. So to go in and snatch it away from Duquesne, who was the preseason favorite to win the league, that was special.
Now, during the season, there was a couple bumps on the road, 2 times that they lost 3 out of 4. Did you have any doubt that they could have a chance to compete and win the A10?
No, not really. I've been around Coach Gaitley long enough to know that she's going to come up with a game plan, and we're going to be in every game that we get after. Because when the bumps in the road, as you say, they might have been little bumps. They weren't real big bumps.
Not too big.
Before we let you go, the team is here again, NCAA tournament for the second time since joining the Atlantic 10 Conference. Taking that next step, winning an NCAA tournament game, what would that mean to this school?
Well, I just think it would kind of set the bar even a little bit higher. I mean, you don't need to prove anything. This is a darn good team.
Right.
And I think it just says, hey, we're at that level with everybody else, and it takes it up a notch. And it'll happen.
Thanks for your time. We appreciate
Thank you very
joining
much.
us.
Thank you for all you guys do.
We'll have much more here from the Rosedale Gym.
Coach
Head
Gaitley.
Coach Gaitley, 2019 A10 champs. How does it feel?
Unbelievable! Go Rams!
You haven't been to the NCAA tournament since 2014. Can you just explain this euphoric feeling that you've been feeling for about a week now?
Yeah, you really don't come down from it. You know, tomorrow we have to get back to business because we'll find out tonight who we play. So, you know, it's hard to do. Like, I was watching my nephew play last night, and he's Division II head coach, and they lost to go to the Sweet 16. They were up 21 with 7 minutes to go. And then I'm watching the Bonaventure game, and it's so hard to complete. But this group has been such an unselfish group and so selfless that, you know, to have them enjoy this moment is so terrific.
How cool was it to go to Duquesne and kind of have everything you've been working towards come to fruition? The defense, being able to cash in, shoot well, everything kind of worked out that weekend. How did that feel?
Well, it's funny because the first chance I had to watch some of the game was last night. I watched the first half, and I'm like, oh my gosh, every shot we took went in.
Right.
It was one of those things you're like, pinch me, you know, is this really, and our defense was totally on point. So, like, in looking back, it was really a great defensive effort, and hopefully that'll help us as we go forward.
I was going to say, you haven't played in about a week now, but Mary Goulding's playing the best basketball of her career. Bre's playing very well. How's that transition going into the NCAA tournament?
Well, the practices, and I think I've shared this with you guys in the past, I think they have a lot to reflect on how you're going to play, and they've been wars. I think our kids are ready to play someone else. We've had great battles the last couple of days. We've been smart. We've given them a few days off, and then we went light, and now we're starting to build up. So we're definitely ready to take the next step.
The defense has led to 12 straight wins. You're holding opponents around 50 points a game, just very stingy. So going into the NCAA tournament, do you almost feel like you can beat anybody if you execute defensively?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the scores, and you even look at like Gonzaga, losing in their tournament to a team they had just beat St. Mary's by like 30 during the regular season, like anything goes once you're in a one and done situation. I think it's just leave it all out there, no excuses, and best team survives.
Now, do you have any preference where you go in the NCAA tournament, where you're ranked, who you're playing?
At this point, no. I mean, because you like it to be close so fans could go.
Right.
That would be ideal. You'd like to have some familiarity. That would be ideal. But that being said, once we find out tonight, we'll get the tapes, we'll break it down, and we'll be ready.
Anything you've been telling your team in practice this week in terms of being in the NCAA tournament before in your career, anything they should expect, particularly the younger ones?
Well, it's been interesting because, when I went to my first tournament, I was just so excited to go that you were just so excited to be there. And I want these kids, I think this team is capable of winning. So I want this team to understand and believe that just don't, of course I'm excited and so proud that we're there, but I also think we're capable of winning. So I want them to realize that they have the ability to do that and that there's no doubt in my mind that we can do that.
Coach, thanks for joining us.
It's been my pleasure
Congrats,
as usual.
Coach. Come on.
Thanks.
We've been off a week, so it's great to talk to you
It's
again.
great to talk to my guys.
Go Rams.
Go Rams.
We're here again, and this time we have the two seniors, Mary Goulding, Lauren Holden. Guys, how's it feel to be champions?
Amazing.
Yeah, it feels awesome.
Amazing, awesome, Dom.
I feel great. Thanks for asking.
What's your adjective on how it feels?
I just feel great. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, sounds good.
That's all you get from me. I'm very conservative.
All right, guys, so you're going to the NCAA tournament. How does it feel to have that full seasons of work kind of culminate in that 3-day stretch at Duquesne where you're able to put it all together?
I mean, it feels incredible. This group of girls are an amazing group of girls that work really, really hard, and it really paid off, and we deserve everything, to be honest. Preseason, in season, it really just showed how much work we've put in the preseason to get where we are now.
Yeah, just going off of what Mary said, I mean, this is an incredible group of girls, and I love playing with them, and I just think it's like an awesome accomplishment that we were able to do what we did and then be able to go into the tournament.
Speaking of the group of girls and your teammates, how important is it to you, or how meaningful is it to be captains on this team for you two?
I mean, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
I'm super humbled to have that position in this team, but it also is made a lot easier with this group of girls. They make our lives a lot easier because they are leaders themselves, and they hold each other accountable the same way that we hold them accountable. They make our lives a lot easier.
Any different attitude this week? You're now preparing for the NCAA tournament. You want to get a win, which would be the first in program history. How are you feeling, and has there been anything different in practice?
I mean, I think we're ready to go. We know that it's business time again. You know, we celebrated last week, and we just kind of took it all in that we won our conference, but now it's time to get back to work.
Yeah, I mean, we want to make history. We're not done yet. Fordham's still got a run in them.
Now, you guys played a lot of college basketball. This is your first time in the NCAA tournament for both of you. How hard is it to first get to this point, and what makes this team different than any other team you guys been on?
It's definitely a really hard thing to do. I mean, throughout the season you go through highs and lows, but I just think this team is really good at staying together, and we stay together through those highs and lows. I just remember, when we were playing in the tournament, there was never a time where, during any of the games, where there was doubt at all. We all trusted each other. We all trusted in the coaches, and we knew we could do it.
Saturday against Duquesne, have you ever been part of a performance where you shot that well? I mean, that was outrageous. 41-9 in the first half. It was almost like there was a magnet on the rim or something.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Coach was saying that, defense comes first, but if we play really good defense, which we did, and we shot well, shoot, the other team better watch out.
That was like the demo sample.
Literally what happened. We played defense and we shot well, and yeah.
Now, I hate to bring this up, but any game could be your last as a Fordham Ram. But are you guys even thinking about that, or are you guys just going in and playing hard?
I didn't even think of that, to be
Sorry
honest.
I brought it up.
I really, now that you said that, I'm like, shoot. Yeah. But no, I believe in us,
Do you guys have any, do you guys care where you guys go, anything like that?
To be honest, I really want to go to California. Not going to lie.
Make the trek across the country.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see shortly, and it will be the actual reveal of where you guys are going. So we'll find that out shortly. Guys, thanks for joining us. Congrats on a great season.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
And to complete that front line, Emmanuel Howard. True. One of the most athletic 4 players in the country, a terrific rebounder, high percentage shooter who can extend the defense. And when you have a player like Tiara McCowan under the basket, you need to get as many defenders as you can away from her.
As you look at the bottom of the Portland bracket, guys, my eyes go to the Oregon Ducks, who throughout the reveals, they were at one point a 1 seed. Charlie, when do you feel as though the Ducks were kind of knocked off that 1 seed line?
Well, towards the end of the season, losing to Oregon State and then losing in the Pac-12 final to Stanford. They had a chance maybe to be a 1 seed had they beaten Stanford in that Pac-12 tournament final. It didn't happen. They end up on the 2 line. Much like the UConn-Louisville situation, Oregon was going to be in Portland anyway, and they're paired up with the number 1 seed Mississippi State. It's interesting, the 2 played each other early in the season. Oregon won that game. It would be a very, very interesting rematch to see because I think teams are a little bit different now.
Sure. Well, let's take a look at some of the reactions that we're getting around the nation. Syracuse, an ACC at-large bid. How about the 3 seed? The Qs will be hosting in the Carrier Dome. Hope you guys can pack that bad boy out. It's their 7th straight trip to the tourney for Q Hillsman and the Orange. How about Fordham? They're still doing it for the Bronx. They're pounding the rock. Tony Reale, he's loving it. His Fordham Rams are in the tournament after winning the A-10.
She's coming back to join us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Coach, it's been a wacky day between the supposed matchup and now finally figuring things out. You are playing number 3 Syracuse, the 12th ranked team in the nation, on Saturday. How excited are you for this opportunity?
I'm excited. I mean, I know Q pretty well. I mean, we actually served together on the All-American Committee, so we have a good relationship. I've always respected the job he's done there. I mean, they're very talented. They did a great job this season. I think it's a tough matchup, but I also think it's a good matchup for us.
Now, as soon as it was announced here, you just kind of went into just saying they're a zone team. Did you already do your research? You already are doing your homework.
Yeah, I mean, we've played them in the past, so I've played them since we've been here, and I played him when I was at Monmouth in the NIT, so he traditionally stays pretty similar, but he has a very, very good point guard from Australia. He has another big kid from Latvia that we know that we recruited. He does a lot of international recruiting, so they're very talented. And, anytime on the East Coast, because I'm on the All-American Committee, one of my responsibilities is stay familiar with the players on those teams, and so that's part of why I am.
Do you almost think the fact that they take that volume of 3-pointers, 25-plus per game, plays to your benefit? Because it seems your team thrives against teams that thrive from the perimeter.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, we've faced teams in our conference that do the same thing. I mean, Davidson liked to put up a lot of threes. I mean, VCU was not a three-point shooting team, but Duquesne liked to put up a lot of threes, and I think we do a pretty good job defending the 3. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Going into this game, like you said, interesting matchup. We talked about the offense for your side, defense for your side. What do you think is going to win this game against Syracuse? You mentioned that they play zone defense. If the 3-ball falls, obviously for any team, if the 3-ball falls, you're going to put in points, you're going to win games. But what does it come down to?
I think we need to control tempo. They like to press. They're big. They got good size. So I think the important thing for us is to control tempo, not give them second opportunities. The last time we played them there was a while back, but we were down 2 at half, and then they exploded. And then we also played them out in Vegas. And again, played them fairly well, 6-point game in the third quarter, and then they exploded. So they go on major runs. So for us, it's important to make sure that we were able to bottle up those runs.
Is it a little cool that there's a local rivalry, Fordham from the Bronx, Syracuse upstate? You got a New York battle in the NCAA tournament.
How about that? I love it.
We also have a rivalry, too.
We do. We're going to have a rivalry with their radio crew once we get up there. So,
I love it.
It should be fun.
That's right. With all their, I get it. Yeah.
Right, Fordham, Syracuse.
Coach, you're going to back us up, though.
I got your back. I totally got your back.
Take some of your players for a pickup game.
I'm in.
Coach, 2014, lost by 1 to the University of Cal in the first round. How hard of a pill was that to swallow?
They're one of the games when you get done, you look back and say, what could I have done differently? What would I have done differently? I mean, our best player had, had our leading scorer, had the ball and had the last shot. So, I mean, I might have made a different call for her, but I still would have gone to, her or Abigail at that point.
Defend for 5 to stay alive. What does that mean?
Now it used to be that we would have the 4-minute games, but now with the way the quarters are, they're 5-minute games. So our big thing is at the every 5-minute mark, Raylene comes up to me and says, what's our defensive goal? And I give the defensive goal, and we have that defensive goal for every 5 minutes.
Real quick, I want to ask, because I saw someone talking about, I don't remember where, but the jokes in the huddle. I'm still confused about that. But I remember you guys writing some down, I believe, during the VCU game before it.
Well, the timeouts are so long with TV games that there's always that pause and that moment where the kids are kind of by themselves for a while. And so, especially at the tight times, I like to tell jokes. So I started a joke at the beginning of the game. I couldn't remember, so I had to run back to my sheet of paper to remember the ending of it. And then there was a point there where they were going to the monitor, and I started a joke, and they pulled everybody together, and I had to stop my joke. And so I told, Sonia and Claire were helping me put together a few jokes to get ready for those long pauses.
Coach, we'll leave you on this. How cool would it be to get an NCAA tournament win for this program? Never been done before.
I mean, this team has done a lot of firsts. This is the first time I've won a regular season and a conference championship in the same year. So this seems to be a season of firsts, so why stop now?
Thanks, Coach, as always.
Thanks,
Coach.
go
really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
We'll see Coach as we go up to Syracuse on Saturday. It will be the Rams and the Orange Woman, 1 p.m. Saturday in Syracuse. And it's always great to have head coach Stephanie Gaitley with us. Jackson's going to rejoin us at the table.
He's talking
shortly.
to Coach right now.
Jackson, get over here.
He says he's finally invited back, but we got a lot of insight from Coach right there. She talked about the defend for 5 to stay alive. We were wondering about that. That's on the back of their shirts. And also the jokes. I believe it was Bre Cavanaugh who was talking about it in one of the interviews that she did about the jokes. And just a little inside scoop of the women's team.
It's a motto, and we were wondering what that motto actually meant, but defend is part of that motto, and defense has been a huge part of this Fordham team and a reason why they're in this position.
They are, for sure, and they're going to have to defend a lot when it comes to playing Syracuse, because that's the only way you can beat them is the way you slow them down. I mean, I'm sure I'm echoing a lot of what Coach Gaitley just mentioned, but this is a team that shoots 28 threes a game, and this is a matchup for Fordham that they've seen this before. I mean, if you slow down their game, you slow down their pace, and the only way to do that is by establishing that early and forcing them to take bad shots. If you force them to take bad shots, it forces them out of rhythm. It allows you to play a slow-style game that you want and force them to really be uncomfortable.
And it also helps when you pour in shots the way they did against Duquesne. So maybe some of that scoring barrage. You were mentioning the first time they went to the NCAA tournament as part of the A-10, when they played UCLA, got out to an early lead, they shot 51% from the field overall in that game, so it could take a heroic shooting effort like that.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it perfectly. They're coming into form at the right time. They're starting to make shots unlike they were able to do early in conference play. I mean, you look at this stretch they've been on. Early, they weren't hitting a ton of shots, but, I mean, when it came to conference tournament time, they're starting to hit shots from behind the arc, and you have to do that against Syracuse because they're going to force you into those type of looks from behind the arc.
They're definitely getting hot at the right time. 12 wins in a row for this program, and we talked about it. They were winning games in the middle of the season, but it was mostly for from their defense. They weren't knocking down those threes, but like you said, they're shooting the ball very well right now. Mary Goulding, like we mentioned before, playing the best brand of basketball that she's played in her entire career, which is amazing right now. 2 24-point performances in the past. couple of games, basically, which are both her career highs. So Mary Goulding and Bre Cavanaugh playing very well.
You almost mentioned defense, and then anything offensively is a plus. Well, that Duquesne game, it was defense and then all the gravy on top. And you saw what they can do, what they're capable of when they kind of stymie a team early on and put them to bed. Early start, that could be a key on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's obviously the type of motto that you have to follow. I mean, anytime you play a flawless game in the year, I mean, you're obviously going to look back and say, hey, what did we do well? And how do we progress that going forward, and how do you replicate that? So obviously I think that is the blueprint for Fordham, but also matchup-wise, I think this game plays into their favor as well. Like I mentioned, I mean, obviously two very conflicting styles of play. Fordham, we like to slow the game down, and on Syracuse's side, I mean, like I mentioned, very fast-paced team. They like to take shots 7 seconds into the shot clock. So if you can get them out of rhythm early, that will rattle a team, and Cuse obviously can be a team that if you don't do that early, they're going to hit a ton of shots and they could put up 100 points on you. So it's key to get that started early.
I know we keep talking about the matchup, but Syracuse is 12th in the nation. You can't really throw that aside. So it is going to be a tough matchup for Fordham, a tough environment, definitely in the Carrier Dome. Like we said, it's a football stadium turned basketball stadium. Coach said it before in a Q&A that it's not really different. She's played there, and we are actually going to be joined by Bre Cavanaugh and Mary Goulding.
We are.
Right now.
So we had a little bit of a stall there, but a good chance to analyze the upcoming matchup and what Fordham will be facing on Saturday when they go and make the trip to Syracuse. So now we have two players coming to the table with us, senior Mary Goulding, redshirt sophomore Bre Cavanaugh. We were able to speak with Mary before, so we're able to get some of that similar insight. Now she's going to throw the headset on and rejoin us again. Bre, of course, coming onto the show for the first time tonight. So, guys, thanks for joining us. How excited are you to be able to play not only a local battle at Syracuse, but be able to be in the NCAA tournament in the position that you are?
I mean, I'm super excited. I mean, we're playing close, and I think, as Coach said, it's a very winnable game, and I think, I think we're ready. I mean, we've been practicing for the past, 7 days, and, we've been going at it, against each other, so I think, we're ready.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good. We like to get competitive, but ultimately, we're ready. We enjoyed the win and our time off, but then ultimately we came back on court and we've got business to take care of. And today we found out who our matchup is, and I think the team is excited. I mean, I'm super excited. I think it's definitely a winnable game.
Did you guys actually not know before coming out here? How'd you guys keep it a secret? You guys off your phones?
Yeah. I mean, I stayed off it. I got like how it comes up, and it was like an email saying selection's been leaked, and I just immediately clear. Don't want to know.
I gotta say that's tough to do, because whenever something a score goes final or something, I'm quick to my phone. But you guys actually were able to keep it silent for 2 hours and not know that you guys were playing Syracuse. That's crazy.
I was on the phone with Coach, and Coach was like, "So what do you guys want to do?" She's like, "I can tell you who we're playing right now." I was like, "Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I want to know when the team finds out. I want to be part of it when the team finds out."
And what was that like, seeing your school pop up there on the ESPN selection?
It was pretty
show?
cool.
It was cool. I'm not even gonna lie. It was different, but it was very, very cool.
We keep talking about you guys are playing unbelievable basketball. The team as a whole, and then you two personally. How do you guys carry that over into the NCAA tournament after about it's going to be more than a week and a half off?
I mean, I think we just got to trust the coaches and trust ourselves and keep doing what we've been doing. When we're not going to do anything different. It's the same thing in the final, in the championship game. We come in and Coach says, okay, we're going to play a triangle in 3. We're going to go zone on a miss. And I look at Elle and I'm like, wait, what the heck? We've never practiced this. And then she's like, I'm kidding. She's like, we're not going to do anything different. We're coming in here, we're going to play the same Fordham basketball. And that's what we're going to do against Syracuse. We're going to get in there, we're going to train hard this week, know the scout, and, just play Fordham basketball.
How have you guys been preparing? I know you guys, no one really knew who they were playing until today. How have you guys been preparing this past week or a couple of days when you guys started getting back into it?
We've just been playing against each other. I know Coach mixed up the teams, and we've just been, just going at it. I mean, we treat every day like, the next, practice hard and do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's important that, we're getting better every day. Even though we don't know who we're playing, we can still get better by pushing each other in practice.
You guys definitely seem ready for the challenge.
Yeah, no,
I'm ready.
I'm
excited.
Guys,
It's going to be hard to wait until Saturday, 1 o'clock. You guys want it like
hard.
tomorrow, today?
Like, literally, I was kind of hoping we were going to play on like Thursday or Friday. I'm like, but I mean, more time to get ready.
Of course.
We'll let you guys go. Congratulations and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for
Thanks,
having
guys.
us.
Appreciate it. Good luck.
Cheers.
Senior Mary Goulding and redshirt sophomore Bre Cavanaugh. Dom, great to hear from them. And Fordham at Syracuse Saturday, official. And now we can welcome Jackson back again.
Jackson keeps getting up and down. He must be very tired.
And here he comes, making the stroll over. The Nooch Jimmy Sullivan gets his headset
The
ready.
Nooch. That's a nickname from Coach Gaitley.
All right. I'm back.
Added sound
I told
effect
you he's
from
very
Jackson.
tired.
Tired of you, Dom.
So, guys, final thoughts, and let's go keys to the game on Saturday, Fordham at Syracuse.
Oh, well, I think I've kind of listed them out pretty significally. But, yeah, Dom, you can start.
Yeah, Dom, go.
We obviously talked about a defense, offense, but on the defensive side, they said control the pace. They like to play, especially press. Offensively, if you can knock down the three, that's always a good situation. They're shooting the ball very well right now and play as a cohesive unit. They said this is the best this team's ever basically bonded and come together. So I think that is really important going into it.
I think that chemistry stuck out the most to me. They seem like they haven't missed a beat since that A-10 tournament, and they're ready to tackle that next challenge. It doesn't seem like a week-and-a-half spell means anything to them. They're just going to go in with the same mentality, and they have the confidence that they could beat anyone on their schedule.
Yeah, I think if we're talking keys to the game, I know I've mentioned slowing Cuse down is the key, but also sticking to who you are, I think, in a tournament game is most important because you're not going to beat a team as talented as Syracuse by trying to play their game. It's just not going to happen. They're too talented. They can make a ton of shots. You have to play to who you are and that identity that they've been able to form all year. I mean, this is a team that has broken teams down defensively to a point where the frustration builds so much at the end of the game. I point to the Rhode Island game this year where the frustration built so much for Rhode Island it just became technical foul after technical foul at the end of the game. Not saying that's going to happen when you play a team like Syracuse, but if you force them out of their comfort zone, the discipline will rise. Errors will rise from their point of view also, and it'll just make Fordham a lot more comfortable if they're able to play their style, just because you can't beat a team like Syracuse if you let them get in their comfort zone.
And their style is working 12 in a row. The defense, we keep talking about, the defense is really stepping up for them lately, and if they can continue to play that brand of basketball, like the shots falling, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to beat Syracuse. They're 12th in the nation, but it's going to give them a really good chance.
They may not be in the ACC, but they may be the hottest team in the nation. So
you could argue it.
You could argue it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it doesn't take being in the power conference per se. Sometimes it just takes the right mix, the perfect storm, and that could come in the form of the Syracuse Orange. We'll just have to wait and see. So,
this place is really emptied out. Where is everyone?
It has. And it's perfect time for the end of our program. So we thank everyone for listening, bearing with us after the delay, the leaked bracket and all. And a big thanks to the whole video crew, including our producer, David Bernard Santana, for bringing this to you. And it'll be on their YouTube page. So a big thanks to everyone involved, our on-site producer, Jimmy Sullivan, the Nooch, Jackson Heil, Dominic Capone, our supervising producer, Raphael Ali, and our sports director, Bobby Jaffardini. So big thanks for watching our NCAA Women's Basketball Selection Show. Fordham at Syracuse, Saturday at 1 p.m. We'll have it for you on 90.7 FM. Until then, thanks.